Hi everyone, I'm James Peck. This is Andrew Holloway from the Tech and High Growth team powered by Parry. We're here today to talk to you about staff retention and staff hiring. Specifically, when you've reached your EMI limits and are looking for ways to incentivize key members of staff to ensure that they either join the business or stay with the business as you scale and grow your business. We know that once you breach EMI limits, there are a number of different options available to you. Some of them are more attractive than others. And what we're going to do today is going to go through each of those and explore what might be advantageous for your business. Andrew, over to you.
Hi guys. So there's a number of reasons why you might breach EMI limits. There's a gross assets test, a number of people test. It's just growing pains. It's becoming it's a scaling, it's a growing business. There are broadly three ways that we see as important for businesses like yourselves to allow you to incentivize staff going forward into the future, grow your teams, get the right people in. The first is CSOP, a company share ownership plan. CSOP is essentially EMI's big brother, although not quite so attractive. Still an HMRC approved scheme, can still grant options to staff. Growth in value should be able to benefit from capital gains tax rates. Slightly lower values can be offered to staff in terms of the value of the options at grant, but still a really, really interesting option, and one we tend to see most scaling tech companies graduate to as and when they're limited from using EMI. There's a lot more flexibility in CSOP as well. There are a number of qualifying conditions, qualifying tests under the EMI legislation that fall away under CSOP. One other point we should note about CSOP as well is that it's currently under consultation with the government, and we are hoping, and we'll be putting forward the case, that the CSOP scheme should be expanded to make it more attractive and more useful to scaling tech companies. Second option, growth shares. Growth shares are essentially a new share class that you introduce. It's shares up front, not options. That's important. But essentially, an individual is offered a class of equity. That needs to be valued up front from a tax perspective. So there will be a cash outflow for the employee at the start, although that should be managed to a low valuation. What can growth shares do? Essentially, there's different ways of planning it, but you can set a hurdle. Before the hurdle, growth shares don't participate. So on a capital or a value realization event, no return for the growth shares. Above a hurdle, yes, they can benefit. They cut in, they start to deliver proceeds into the employees' pockets. What does that do? It aligns everyone. It aligns VC, PE, founders, and staff. We want to grow the business. We want to drive exit proceeds. We want to drive towards that hurdle, drive towards that target. Things to watch in growth shares. There's an upfront. There could be an upfront cost depending on the value of the shares. Valuation is absolutely critical. Where you set the hurdle can be really, really important to that. Also, if you've got a structure that's been EIS compliant in the past, growth shares can cause problems there. Not a problem, or not a showstopper, but something you need to have a think about, something we've got experience advising on. EIS compliant growth share schemes are something that we know well, EIS, VCT, etc. The last option to look at, unapproved share options. Unapproved share options are actually really, really easy. You don't tend to have to do too much with them. On the flip side, tax treatment sometimes not so good. Any growth in value for an unapproved option between grant and exercise is subject to income tax. If the shares are readily convertible at the point of exercise, income tax, NICs can become expensive. However, easy to put in place, almost taxed like a bonus, but can be aligned. It can be used to align stakeholder and employee objectives. That's where we've got to so far, guys. We'll hopefully talk to you a bit more about these schemes in a bit more detail another time. Cheers.